Well, welcome to Richvale, population 200. In fact, in just the 78 years I've lived here, it's actually doubled in population. Isn't that just phenomenal?
I'm here with Homer Lundberg, one of the founders of Lundberg Family Farms. You may have had their rice chips or their rice cakes. And Homer, why is Richvale such a great place to grow rice?
Even though this soil will not adapt itself to row crops and orchards and that kind of thing, it's absolutely some of the finest soil and finest weather for growing rice any place in the world.
And that's because of the soil, the type of soil that's here. Will you touch on that?
Yes, it's a heavy clay adobe that is as hard as a rock when it's dry, is like glue when it's wet, and the water doesn't drain away from the roots fast enough for upland crops, but rice is an aquatic and it loves to stand in water. Well, hi, good to see you. Hey, let me introduce you to the town council.
We are at the Richvale Cafe, the one and only restaurant in Richvale, right, Homer?
That's correct, that's correct. And people say, what part does it play in the area? I say, when the cafe's open, it's a community. When it's closed, it's a rural area.
What is the best thing to order at the Richvale Cafe?
Oh, you can't go wrong. You just look at something that looks good and it will be good.
And how long has the Richvale Cafe been here? When you were little, was this a cafe?
When I was growing up here, there was actually two grocery stores, and both of them had gas stations, and this one had a fountain. And that fountain sort of turned into cafe, and then it burned down, and maybe that's 30 years ago.
And what makes this community so unique? Obviously, it's very small, and I imagine growing up, you couldn't get away with anything.
Well, that's true. That's true, and but you were around nice people all the time, and I think what makes any community special? Well, it's the kind of people that are there. And I was very fortunate growing up among really nice people.
Hey Mike, it's your turn to pay this week.
The importance of rice to Richvale is illustrated by the fact that our streets are even named after rice varieties. In fact, this is one of our main streets, and it is Rice Street. The next street down is Calrose, so you're on the corner of Calrose and Rice. And then the next street down is Calora and Rice. And Calora was one of the first short grain rices introduced into California, produced by the experiment station down the road. And that probably was introduced almost 100 years ago.